Hi, this is Charlotte Bergman, a host of Political Talk with Charlotte. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be one of those unusual shows. You may like it and you may not like it, but sometimes, especially in this day and time, the truth hurts. The truth is hard to digest, but the truth is the truth. I do appreciate you joining me. Please leave your likes or emojis or even comments. Share this video, guys. I need you to share this video, especially now since we're getting close to the midterms election. I'm the conservative voice for Christian and constitutional values. And that's what you're going to get from me, and that's what you're going to get from this show. In today's video, among other things, we're going to talk to Mike Wright, who has some facts pertaining to that 2020 election. Remember those people who actually saw the election stolen from them on January 6th, and they went to Washington, D.C. to state, hey, I see you, and I don't like what I'm seeing. Well, it's not over yet, guys. The 2020 election is not over, and we are going to talk about one person who refused to certify that fraudulent election and another who actually did. So join us, get your coffee, your tea, whatever, and don't forget the popcorn. Join me and read my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America. Find out what we need to do to save America, because she is worth saving. So our guest today is Mike Wright. Mike was supposed to have joined us last week, but I was on the road and he had other things he needed to do. But with that extra time, it's given him enough time to do additional research so he can bring a great show to you. Mike, before you get started, because you're going to talk about some things pertaining to the 2020 election, I want you to give you a little bit of a heads up in terms of a recent poll that was conducted. Voter ID is extremely popular. Overall, 83% to 84% of Americans support requiring photo IDs. 98 to 95% of Republicans want it. 84 to 79% of independents want it. And even Democrats want it. 71% to 67%. That's pretty high. That says that election integrity is something people are concerned about. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you because you were there during the 2020 election and other elections that are out there. Mike, what do you have to say about election integrity?
Well, I have to say several things about that, Charlotte. I absolutely agree about the whole voter ID high percentage agreement amongst the bipartisan support and whatnot, because I mean, it just makes sense. How do you know someone is who they claim to be when they go to vote if you don't see ID? It's a brain dead thing, and anyone who's not on board with it is not all right with me. How do you know that person is who they are? You don't. And you just want me to take your word for it? Sounds like nonsense. But going further into election integrity and some of the issues we've seen, especially here in Shelby County, because there have been quite a few. And not only have there been issues, but the more interesting part is that those issues have to do with one of your opponents, Brent Taylor. Oh,
okay.
yes, because people don't know this. Many of them don't. Brent Taylor was on the Shelby County Election Commission. And when was he there?
I heard about that, but I couldn't quite remember. I'm glad you're bringing this up.
And when was Brent there? Brent was there for 2020. The big steal. Brent Taylor was around. So
he was the chairman too, wasn't he?
He was at one point. I don't believe he was during 2020 specifically.
He was the chairman. I did a little research, and it says Brent Taylor served as the chairman of the Shelby County Election Commission during the 2020 election, overseeing the implementation of health and safety practice due to the COVID-19 pandemic and addressing concerns about election integrity. His leadership was crucial in adopting voting procedures to ensure that citizens could vote safely and their votes would be counted.
Their votes would be counted. Now, I'm glad you said that, Charlotte,
I
because
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Doing my research, I went back to try to do some research on Brent Taylor involved with the 2020 election. And I did see a Facebook page that was referencing it. It's been scrubbed. How much other stuff has been scrubbed?
right. There's quite a bit of information out there that has never been released, or perhaps it's just gone now. But thankfully, not all of it's gone. And anyone who is can read between the lines clearly and can recognize patterns will be able to understand what's being presented today. Now, you were talking about some of the issues going on in Shelby County and whatnot for the elections, and how are we going to be able to verify the votes and things like that? Well, in 2020, Shelby County, the county commission voted to have paper ballots because, mind you, these were the Democrats. Because this just came off of what they assumed was a steal in 2016. So now they're saying, "Hey, we got to have paper ballots. We got to have paper ballots." So they went all in for those paper ballots. And who came forward to say no to the paper ballots? Can you guess who? Who instead said, I think we should still keep the machines? Brent Taylor. Brent Taylor said that. That's based on the May 7th, 2020 meeting minutes for the Shelby County Election Commission. Brent Taylor is the one who brought the motion forward. He said, let's use the machines and let's use the paper ballots as well. But hold on, it's not just that simple. We all have our concerns about the machines, but before Brent even made that decision about this hybrid voting system, he was just briefed by his fellow election commissioner, at that time, Benny Smith, who happens to be one of the most noteworthy election integrity experts in the country. And Benny had just briefed him with multiple scientific studies pointing out the flaws in the machine. Nonetheless, Brent Taylor said, let's keep the machines around. Let's keep them around. And do you know why, Charlotte, Brent Taylor said to keep them around? Because the administrator of elections, Linda Phillips, was the one who was advocating for it. Now, this is a big deal. This actually turned into a huge controversy. The press began to report on this too. Linda Phillips was fighting for these machines to stay in place, even though the county commission said no to the machines.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Why does this matter? Because Linda Phillips, by her own admission in the meeting minutes, is very clear. Her son works for one of the election software companies. You don't say. So then, this woman whose son works for the election software company also makes it to where the public is not allowed to know what election software vendor the county will even be utilizing. It's not a public record that is shared, and she will fight you tooth and nail to hide that information. And why am I bringing this all up? Because this happened under Brent Taylor. Brent Taylor allowed all of this shady behavior. So we would have had paper ballots, verifiable paper trail of the votes, and that's gone. In order to appease this woman who very likely has a conflict of interest, and even the press was reporting on this potential conflict of interest. Of course, the individual who has family members working for an election software company wants to keep the machine. And since we don't know what software company the county actually chose, how do we know they didn't pick her son's company? You don't know. This is all under Brent Taylor, people. It's hilarious. But I'm sorry, Charlotte. I'm getting too giddy. I'm getting too giddy. There's a excuse me. I'm going to keep on going through as well. So, just going through my notes. There are other records as well, besides just the vendor contract, that will never be released because Linda Phillips is against election transparency. Everything she does is against election transparency, such as the releasing the CVR records. Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, that was part of your lawsuit too. You were
That
trying to
was
get those
part of
records,
my lawsuit.
and you could not get them, of course. And that's my point, because Linda Phillips is not on board with the election. She is not on board with election transparency, and she conceals all records. And Brent Taylor is an enabler of this behavior. That's why I have to keep bringing her up, because I need you to understand he enables and allows this behavior. In spite of all contrary scientific evidence, he still allows it nonetheless. So I just have to make sure people are aware of what they're getting. If they think they're about to get some awesome MAGA candidate with Brent Taylor, you are deceived. That is establishment. That is Rhino. That man is not for election integrity. And I've heard just in other areas he's worked, I've heard some concerns from other members in the community that he got involved with the school boards and the education system as well. And he helped integrate the county school system with the city of Memphis's school systems, and it ended up destroying some of the best schools in the county, namely Bolton High School. Bolton was one of the most desired and one of the most respected high schools at one point. After this move, which Brent Taylor helped participate in regarding the school boards and whatnot also, or I'm sorry, integrating the school systems, the reputation and the quality at Bolton plummeted. So it was just, you know, you're seeing it everywhere, just poor performances. Everywhere he's going, poor performance. If you want establishment, if you want rhinos, you go right ahead. You take the rhino pick, you pretend like he's one of the good old boys or whatever, then make no mistake about it, when it comes time for him to stand with Trump on a critical key issue, he will turn. He will flip. I have no faith, zero confidence in Brent Taylor based on his past behavior and performance, especially at the election commission. That's all I got to say on that, though, Charlotte.
Well, what you're having to say is extremely important. And yes, I was aware of the 2020 election. I was aware that that election should have never been certified in the first place. And actually, it took someone who was brave, like Peters, to stand up. I mean, this lady was willing to risk her freedom in order to not certify a fraudulent election. That's what you call someone that is brave. My opponent, not so much, but he goes around and tells everybody, I'm a fighter. I will fight for you. Bring it on, that type of stuff. But he was given an opportunity to stand up for what was right, and he failed. I want to say this. In order for us to have an election full of integrity, there are going to be a number of things that need to change. For instance, the House members are now fighting for proof of citizenship. And the American people are realizing that proof of citizenship is extremely important. I mean, they want to be able to go to the polls and know that their votes will count toward the people whom they have chosen, irrespective of whether they choose a Democrat or independent or Republican. But when you have illegals who will be allowed to vote and some type of way they don't show their proof of citizenship, yes, they may have a driver's license, but that's no guarantee that they are truly citizens. We have got to have proof of citizenship. No more going to the DMV and just getting a driver's license based upon some flimsy documentation that you have that implies that you are who you say you are. That we've proven that not to be true. California's, we all know about California and their rigged elections. What have they got? I see. Their election was first. Their The election was on June the 2nd, okay, 2026. They're still voting, and they're going to be allowed to continue to vote until, guess what, July 2nd. That's a whole month, guys. I mean, that's what you call blatant cheating. It takes somebody who is courageous, who will say, no, we're not going to put up with this. We need one day mail in ballots. We need election votes that are on watermarked paper ballots, and no more rigged machines to count the votes.
Right.
What do you say about that, Michael?
I absolutely agree. Paper ballots. Paper ballots is the way it always should have been. Unlike what Brent Taylor is suggesting using the machines, I'm all for paper ballots. MAGA is for paper ballots. President Trump is for paper ballots because everyone understands those machines are problematic. They are designed to cheat. They don't even need to be hacked. They are designed to cheat.
Well, in Tennessee itself, and maybe not all counties are being affected by this, but in Shelby County, as you said earlier, the Shelby County Election Commission will not allow you to look at the CVR files nor the PVL files. Those are the files that people can look at and make a cross reference to get a better understanding of how close to the final numbers the election results were. And for some reason, I don't want to say election integrity or lack thereof has something to do with that. But what say you, Michael?
I'll say it. I'll say it. I smell a rat. I smell a complete lack of transparency, someone trying to cover something up. I think this should be investigated heavily, in my opinion, as well. Hint, hint to everybody watching. But also, Brent Taylor goes around swearing nothing was wrong with our elections here in 2020. President Trump and his team were going around the whole country warning everyone about the machines. Brent Taylor says very clearly, nothing to see here, nothing wrong in this county. Mind you, he was briefed on the vulnerabilities in the very machines he chose to use. Yet, that's the audacity of this man. He's going to sit there with a straight face and pretend like he didn't know there's a problem.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it. He has been endorsed by our senator who is running for governor, Marsha Blackburn. She herself, on January 6th, turned her back on President Trump when he badly needed her. She did not vote to send the electors back to their state capital to look to make sure that those certified vote elections results were indeed valid. She did not stand behind President Trump. And just recently, President Trump came out and said he was not going to get involved with this gubernatorial election in Tennessee. But he did say, and most people are missing it, he said, but John Rose has been loyal to him because John Rose did not turn his back on President Trump during a critical period in this election process. So could you say that was a backhanded endorsement? I'm going to say it. I think it was a backhanded endorsement. I think if anybody were to receive the endorsement, I think John Rose might have.
We'll see. But based on hearing that, it doesn't sound like he's too keen on Mrs. Blackburn at the moment. So
Well,
You know,
listen,
with that logic, not having people support him when he needed it most, Brent Taylor was in a position to expose the machines, and he could have single-handedly opened the Pandora's box and blown the lid off of the issue with the machines and proven all suspicions and accusations by the Trump administration correct. He could have helped Trump in that crucial era. He was in the position. What did he do? Nothing. Silence. Nothing to see here.
nothing to see here exactly. And this is the person who is saying, I will fight for you. I'm tough. Um, bring it on. And the other thing about what is being said, Neely, thank you for joining us. Sabrina Greer, thank you for joining us. Maddie Johnson, all righty, thank you for joining us. Cindy, Carol, Lynn, you guys are great. Please share this video. It's very important information. Karen is online. Nani is online. Wow, we got some really great supporters online here, and I appreciate all that you're saying. Whoa, I'm sorry, I've been so engrossed in listening to what Michael has to say that I have not been catching up with your comments. And it's not so much that your comments are not important, they are very, very important. But I want to thank you all for your comments. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. You've got some very, very valid points. So to see their comments, just go to my Facebook page at Charlotte Bergman and read the comments. And then share this video with everybody you know. The election is coming up on August the 6th. Make the right choice. Don't vote for someone based upon the color of their skin. Vote for somebody who's going to fight for you. And when I think about Tina Pearson, this lady sacrificed her freedom. She would not certify that election. Let me read to you. She's an American politician who served as county clerk of Mesa County, Colorado, from 2019 to 2023. So she was right there during the 2020 election. In 2021, she was temporarily suspended by the Colorado Secretary of State and was convicted of criminal charges related to efforts to overturn the 2020 election of Joe Biden as U.S. president. In August 2024, she was convicted in Colorado State Court on 7 charges, one of which were felonies. 3 felonies relating to the unauthorized access to election machines. Tell you something, guys, our freedom cannot be won through comfort. We got to make some sacrifices. Tina was courageous, and she was just a clerk. Mr. Taylor was the chairman. He had even more of the authority needed in order to challenge the election. So Miss Tina was arrested, put in prison, not in jail, but put in prison. And she was just released on June 1st of this month. She was just released. Now, she was arrested over a year ago and her health suffered, but she did it for freedom. She did it for truth. Those are the types of elected officials that we need to represent us.
Right. And,
sorry, I got carried away.
Oh no. And Charlotte, you fought as well. You, unlike Brent, you actually took a stand. You initiated your lawsuit as well, and you've been advocating for election integrity for quite some time now too. So you've been helping as well in this endeavor to help straighten out this whole mess with the elections. Haven't seen one iota of action from Brent Taylor on this matter. Not one. It's quite not one positive action.
And we lose our freedoms. We lose our freedoms with the ballots at the election centers, at the election commission, at the operation center. And we need people who will fight not just locally, but fight even at the federal level to do what is right for the American people, to allow their voices to be heard. Michael, you promised me You made me promise that I wouldn't hold you very long. I've held you 10 minutes over your allotted time, but what you had to share was extremely valuable. You've got a lot of comments out there, so you need to go to my Facebook page and read those comments, and maybe you can respond to each of them individually. I know I will be responding to them. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you. Let's get out there and fight, guys. You know what? It's a new day in Tennessee. It's a new day in this country, and we're taking our country back. So thank you, Michael Wright, for taking your lunch break to talk to us on the Political Talk of Charlotte show. Is there anything else you want to say before you leave? Because you have been a fighter also, very much so.
Vote for Charlotte. Don't fall for Brent. That is a rhino. That's a rhino very clearly. It's- people just be smart, be wise, do the right thing. Vote Charlotte Bergman for District 9 congressional seat in Tennessee. Thank you.
I am no coward. Thank you so much for joining us, Mike.
Mhm.
God bless you. Bye
God bless
bye.
you as well. Goodbye.